on my broadcast clock here.
Once it does go out, that's it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Got about 30 seconds, Derek.
Okay. Mr. McIntosh, I did a sample ballot and I put Moving for Change in the Panhandle Coalition on it. Sorry. Make sure I send it to you. I printed some out too in case you'd like some for the Movement for Change.
Okay, then. Good work.
Hey, Derek, we ready?
Okay, let me go live.
Good evening. I'm Jerry McIntosh, and this is Our Voices, the People's Media. We got a loss to address tonight, but first we'll go to our host, Mr. Derek Scott, who is the chair of the Scamming Democrat Party here. We also have Jamil Davis with us tonight. But Derek is here in his own right as an individual, not representing the Democrat Party. So we'll get right into it.
Don't know the Democrats. Democrats don't know me.
Yeah, I can't forget where we were watching this show. Mr. Vernon Watson, who is the owner and proprietor of WBQP TV, where you be watching this on Roku, Fire Stick, YouTube, and of course all my Facebook pages. So now we get right into it. Jill and them off tonight.
No, Jill is running just a few moments late. She should be shortly. And Christina, I think, got called into work, and of course BJ is being saving lives tonight. They have the night shift tonight.
Yeah. Right then. We'll go right to you then, Derek.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to Jamil for him to give an update what's happening with Black Voters Matter, when you're going to be in the area, stuff like that, and we will go on.
Salutations and greetings to one and all. It is I, Jamil Davis, your North Florida lead regional organizer for Black Voters Matter. And speaking of places and things that we'll be doing this week, it's baby bus time. It's baby bus tour time, guys. As we all know, we are knee deep in this thing called the Florida State Primary, and we are also knee deep in early voting in the Florida State Primary. So, of course, Black Voters Matter will be on the road starting new revised baby bus tour schedule. It starts August the 14th. Where do we start at August the 14th? We start August the 14th in Tallahassee, Florida, with our fine, awesome partners in Tallahassee. Be hanging with the cool kids. And then Saturday, we will be with our good friends and partners down in Gainesville, Florida. That's August the 15th. We'll be down in Gainesville, Florida. Sunday, last day of early voting in a few counties in the state of Florida, because most of the state, the last day of early voting is going to be Saturday, August the 15th. But in Jacksonville, Florida, where I currently reside, where you currently are seeing my nice and lovely face at, August the 16th, we will be in Jacksonville for our last day of early voting, and we'll be doing an awesome and wonderful Souls to the Polls party with our good friends, Harriet Tubman Freedom Fighters over at Dallas Graham Branch Library. And then we will be showing an awesome viewing of the Black Voters Matter documentary, Love, Joy, and Power, immediately after the polls close at 6 p.m. Location for that will be coming soon. Then Monday and Tuesday, August the 17th and August the 18th, we will be in the great, with the baby bus, by the way, in the great and wonderful city of Pensacola, Florida. Yes, we will be ending our lovely baby bus tour. Instead of beginning the baby bus tour in Pensacola, we will be ending our baby bus tour in Pensacola with August 17th. More information to come on location for the August 17th event, but our August 17th event will be a Pensacola viewing of Love, Joy, and Power, which is our Black Voters Matter documentary. More information to come on location. And then August the 18th, it's election day. And so we'll be cruising around the city. Might even make a stop over in the Panama City as well. And then come right back on over to Pensacola for final results and final things, because there's a lot going on in Pensacola, Florida when it comes to these municipal elections and local elections. And we want to be where the fun is. So that's my time. That's my efforts. I'm going to shoot it back over to you, Derek.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing the baby bus and you here in the next couple of weeks. Mr. Vernon, what do you have for us? Do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything, Derek.
Okay. No radio show promotion?
No, if y'all spending money out there, I sure could use some advertising. That's the only thing I got.
All right.
All right.
Mr. McIntosh, what do you have?
Well, on the 22nd, we're having a voters registration and fish fry at the Move for Change office. It starts at 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. That's August the 22nd. The fish fry is to do something back for the community that has been working with us. It's going to be free, and we're looking forward to having people to come, thanks to some of the Black Voters Matter funds. This is for the general election coming up. We want to be able to register those people that have not registered in the upcoming general election. We are kicking off on August the 22nd. That's from 10 to 3 p.m. Again, the fish is free. We will look forward. I hope that you can make it, Derek, so you can talk to people more about voter registration and voting and why we need to get that vote out. And Jamil, if you're in town, would love to have you there to talk about voting as well and what y'all are doing and why Black Voters Matter is so important. The Black Voters Matter Fund, so important to our community and different organizations. But now that's it, Derek, for me.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to take myself off of mute. I guess it is up to me, and I will share a couple of highlights. I was trying to make sure I had the information that I needed, so that I know where I was going. And hopefully Jill will join us here momentarily. But if you're in Escambia County, today marked the first day of, yesterday marked the first day of early voting. Early voting started here in Escambia County yesterday on the 8th. And we have a whole week all the way until the 15th for you to cast your ballots early. Now, what I will say is that hadn't been a lot of folks that have voted. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware that you can, in fact, go and early vote and make sure that you know exactly who you're voting for. You know, you can go that we have in Escambia County. There are any one of 10 early voting locations that you can take abreast of. So, make sure you do that. They're open from 8:30 in the morning until 5:30 in the evening, Monday through Saturday. So please make sure if you get a chance to go vote early, you can do so. If you are interested in knowing where those early voting locations are, let me make sure I get them on the screen for you here.
And they can vote at any of those early voting places right there.
Yep. If you're in Escambia County, you can vote at any one of the 10 early voting locations. So here, if you give me 1 second, I'm going to put this up. See if I can share it.
And also, if you have a mail-in ballot, you have them mailed in, you can always drop it off at your early voting polling place, a precinct, a polling.
So early voting again for the August elections is going to be through this coming Saturday, which is the 15th. You can go from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. If you are wondering where you are, here's some of the early voting options that you have. Of course, there's the Escambia County Supervisor of Elections office, which is on 213 Halifax Place, which is on the second floor here in downtown Pensacola. If you know where World of Beer or Graffiti Pizza is, it's just directly across from there. You can go to the downtown library at 239 North Spring Street in Pensacola. You can go to the Molino Community Center at 6450 Highway 95A. And of course, the Asbury Place, which is probably the most popular early voting site, or one of the most early populars, which is right next to the Wendy's on 9th Avenue, across the street from Wendy's on 9th Avenue, or directly across from PJC. It's on College Boulevard. You got the Southwest Library, for those of you who live out by me, out on Gulf Beach Highway, across the street from Big Lagoon State Park. You've got the Bellevue Library, which is at 6425 Mobile Highway, the Escambia County Extension Service, which is 3740 Stefani Road out in Cantonment. The Brownsville Community Center, and I will tell you, the Brownsville Community Center is literally the fastest place that you can go vote. So if you don't have any time, you can be in and out of Brownsville within 5 minutes. And that's the Brownsville Community Center at 3200 West DeSoto Street. Of course, the UWF Center for Fine and Performing Arts, which is on the campus of UWF and Building 78, Room 136. And for our neighbors in Century, and North Molino and Barth, you can go to the Billy G. Ward Courthouse at 7500 North Century Boulevard up in Century. Those are the polling locations there. I do want to take a moment because we have the Northwest Florida Panhandle Coalition for Civic Engagement, along with Movement for Change, put together, if you're in Escambia County, a recommended sample ballot. So I'm going to take an opportunity just to share that with you so that you have it. If you need to pick one up, you can feel free to pick one up at Movement for Change office, which is located. What's your address, Mr. McIntosh?
1603 North Davis Highway. That's 1603 North Davis Highway.
So again, you've got a Republican sample ballot, a Democratic sample ballot for those of you who are registered Republicans, for those who are registered Democrats, and those who are registered nonpartisan. Either way, we got you covered. Of course, we've made some recommendations on the Republican side for those of you all who are who are registered Republican and you don't know much about it. There's a ticket, of course. You got Harry Rivera for the Senate, John Frankman for Congressional District 1, Byron Donalds for Governor, Blaise Vingaglia for Chief Financial Officer, Wilton Simpson for Commissioner of Agriculture. And of course, the referendum for the school board is a no. For State House District 2, you got Trey McMullen. And then for School Board District 1, you got Aaron Toller, you got Isaac Williams for District 3, School Board District 2, Gerald Washington, and Mike Kohler for Board of Commissioners. And then Jermaine Williams for Mayor. Of course, if you are a Democrat, Angie Nixon for United States Senate, Earl Ford for Chief Financial Officer, David Jolly and Glenn Graham for Lieutenant Governor, Don Pritchard for Commissioner of Agriculture, also no on the referendum, and the same school board members, Aaron Toller for School Board 1, Gerald Washington for School Board 2, and Isaac Williams for School Board 3, and Jermaine Williams for Mayor. Similarly, if you have a nonpartisan ballot, depending on where you are, you may only have one thing to vote for, but you could have two or three. Again, you vote no for the school board referendum. Same three school board members: Aaron Toll for School Board District 1, Gerald Washington for School Board District 2, and Isaac Williams for School Board District 3, and Jermaine Williams for the mayor. Again, that's brought to you by the Northwest Florida Panhandle Coalition for Civic Engagement and Movement for Change. Those sample ballots will be at Movement for Change, or you can reach out to myself and we can get you one. Either way you need, just let us know. If we are moving on, I guess I will cover it for my Santa Rosa partners as well. Their early voting started earlier this week, so they still have a little bit more time to go and vote. And I wanted to make sure that you knew, for those of you all who are watching in Santa Rosa, you know where to go. So if you live in Santa Rosa County, your early voting state locations are the main elections office, which is at 6495 Caroline Street, Suite F, the South Service Center, which is located at 5841 Gulf Breeze Parkway, which is on Highway 98, essentially in Gulf Breeze. You go to Pace at the Pace Community Center, which is located at 5976 Chumuckla Highway in Pace, Florida. You can go to Tiger Point Community Center, which is 1370 Tiger Park Lane in Gulf Breeze, and the Navarre Community Gym, which is at 8840 High School Boulevard in Navarre, Florida, or the Santa Rosa County Auditorium, which is at 4530 Spikes Way in Milton. I have no earthly idea what times their polls are open, but I'm going to say 8:30 to 5:30, but I don't know. It doesn't tell me. So just call them if you have questions on early voting, what time they are. You can call them at 850-983-1900. Again, that's 850-983-1900. And that takes care of Santa Rosa County. I will turn it over to Jill to talk about what's happening in Okaloosa County and what information they need to.
And I sent it to you, Derek, so that you would have it. But thank you, everyone. I apologize for being late. And I'm happy to be here today. Of course, we do have early voting, as Derek stated, for Escambia County. Okaloosa was the same. We did not start until Saturday yesterday. And you can come out to 5 different locations. They are the same 5 locations they always are in Okaloosa County, but I will remind you of what they are. They are in North Crestview, the Crestview Library, located at 1445 Commerce Drive. Then the Crestview office, which is downtown Crestview at 302 North Wilson Street. That is also where you can get your driver's license on the other side. So you just go to the right side when you go through the doors. And then the county administration building, which is in Fort Walton Beach, Shalimar area, 1250 North Eglin Parkway. And then they also have a location in Destin at the Destin Community Center, 101 Stallman Avenue. And then at Niceville City Hall, 208 Parton Drive. And this year in Niceville, it is back where it normally is located in the city council chambers. So the year before, if you remember, they had some stuff going on. They had to do it in the community center in Niceville, but now it is back in the regular location. And those are the 5 locations that are available for you. And then we do not, on the Panhandle Coalition, as far as I know, has not done a full ballot for you. We have the Democratic one. We have not done a Republican one or an NPA, so I'm sure we'll be working on that maybe for next week. Not sure. Possibly. That's up to Derek. We're going to put that on him. Because he did not share early enough for that to happen on this side. However,
that's up to Jill. If you give me the consolidated ballot, we can do it.
But I wouldn't know who to tell them to vote for. But okay. I would have to do some research on who you would need to vote for. But I can absolutely, he is correct, get you that. But for Okaloosa County, as we had stated before, for Senator, we have Angie Nixon. For Governor, we do have David Jolly. On many of them, people have also highlighted Foster and Joseph. So we'll just put that out there. Then we have Earl Ford for Chief Financial Officer. Joy Mendoza Atkins is who they have on here, although we went with Donald Pritchard. So there's two on that one. Both teams, the Panhandle Coalition, went with Donald Pritchard. Smart Vote went for Joey Atkins. School board members, Linda Vanchek. And for school board member District 5, Brett Henley. So that is what we have going on in Okaloosa. We have just started. So please, if you did not take advantage of the yesterday and or today, you will have time before and after work the rest of the week and through Saturday. So please make sure that you go and cast your ballot and vote. And I would just strongly suggest that if you have not done your vote by mail, you still can turn it in. But if you're not going to do vote by mail and you're waiting to go to the polls, I would just suggest that you go to early voting, because then you don't have to look up your right poll place. If it moved, it changed. You're just not in that circle. That almost should be your last option, I believe, but don't make it your last option. Just make it an option, because when I say last option, you might stay home, and we can't do that this time. For us to get the people that we need, the only way to do that is for everybody to go vote. And it needs to be, okay, I voted, and then you need to call all your family members. And yes, you need to kind of push them to go vote. And then you need to call your circle of friends. And after your circle of friends, and they can be all the way across the state of Florida. Your circle of friends don't have to be in Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Walton County. We have statewide candidates that are running across the entire state, and it literally is going to take everybody, because this time it's going to be who shows up. Whoever shows up is going to be who pushes the candidate forward. And we know what happened last time, and we can't afford for that to happen. And the primary is the opportunity for you to select the candidate that you want to push forward in November. So don't stay home, go early, and thank you so much.
Vote early and vote often.
I think so.
Not more than once, but yes, often, like every time there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, please don't vote more than once. I do want to take an opportunity just to kind of share with everybody where things stand as of right now, which is real time. And so if you go, you guys will tell me if you can see it. This is what Escambia County looks like right now. You've got, out of 204,000 eligible voters, 204,270. Only about 12,850 voters have cast a ballot. You know, right now you see mail-in ballot, which is driving a huge chunk of that. 10,374 have been received thus far. In early voting, which is this number here, you've got 2,476. If you look at this neck and neck, you see Democrats aren't doing too bad. Of those 12,000, about almost 4,850 are Democrats, 6,300 are Republican, and about 1,455 are NPA. So Democrats, if you haven't voted yet, please make sure you go out and vote, because they're counting on you to stay home this election cycle, this August election cycle. So please make sure you do that. Similarly, if we turn out to Santa Rosa, can you guys see Santa Rosa on the screen? Okay. Santa Rosa on the screen, you got 6,216 voters, or about 4.38, almost 4.4% of their of eligible voters have turned out. More more early votes, it looks like, than I think, right? I'm reading that. Yeah, more early votes than mail-in ballots have been cast. And of course, you look at it by party, you got about 1,364 versus 4,394 Republicans and just a few NPAs. And finally, in Okaloosa County, you got mail-in ballots are kicking behind. They got 3.5%, it's almost 3.5.5% of their voter turnout, 5,179 voters of 146,000 eligible voters. You see 3,516 were mail-in ballots versus 1,661 voters who have voted early since early voting started yesterday for them. Of course, you see it by party. You look at 1,413 Democratic voters versus 3,235 registered Republicans, and about 460 NPA, and then 70 less than 100 minor parties. So it's still early, but we have some time. But please let's make sure we get this turnout number as high as possible so that we can make sure we have the right representation in for the November elections, and then as well as put the right people in office for your municipal elections. If I lived in the city, I absolutely would be casting my ballot for Jermaine J. Williams for mayor. So I hope you guys, if you haven't already done so, this is the time to do so. This campaign is gaining momentum, so you want to make sure you get out and let's do what we can to push him over the finish line.
And if I lived in Pensacola, that's who I would be voting for. I told him when he wins, I might have to move. Jamil, I might have to move. Because that is going to be amazing.
So we got some work to do. Make sure you do what you can, support the candidates, and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think of whether I want to share the story of what happened today. Yeah, so what I will tell you is that racism is still alive, and of course we know that, but today during we had a couple of groups that did some hamburgers and whatnot at hamburgers and hot dogs and drinks for people who voted early today at the downtown library. And while I was there, and because I want to get his name, because I don't want anybody to think that I'm sparing anybody, because I like to put names on stuff. While I was there, I happened to see this man going around today. And I noticed that he was only he was going around the sign, polling locations, and he was taking pictures of two of the mayoral candidate signs. He was taking pictures of Jasmine Brown, who is a Black woman running for mayor, and he was taking pictures of Jermaine's signs. And I noticed it, and I thought, well, that's odd. I wonder why he's doing that, because they're not in violation of being, within the 150 feet solicitation rules and whatnot. And so I was getting out of my car, but I was like, no, I'm curious, because I wanted to drive around to see what he was doing. So as he stopped, I stopped with him. And so finally I was like, because I know the man, just sure clear for those who live in Pensacola, his name is Mr. James Gully. man who fancies himself all things. I know all things Pensacola. And I said, hey, I'm curious, why are you taking pictures of Jasmine and Jermaine's signs? And he said, well, and I'm like, no, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Make it make sense. And he was like, well, I noticed, I'm doing my research and I'm looking at people voting. I noticed that at two of the sites that they didn't have a lot of signs. Now today they have a whole lot of signs. So I'm just making sure I document it so I can compare when voter results come out. I know. And I was like, what? I'm confused. That doesn't make any sense. Like you're capturing the number of signs at the polling location so you can compare it to voter turnout. And he was like, well, and I'm like, no, help me to understand. Because I don't know. I was like, let me make sure because I don't believe you are. Are you on Jasmine's campaign team? And he's like, no, absolutely not. And it's like, oh, okay, I know you're not on Jermaine's campaign team. So what exactly are you doing? And he couldn't explain it, right? I said, well, I just find it, I said, it's just a little bit odd and weird that somebody would take the time to do, right? And you know what this man said? You know what's weird? A nigger following me, trying to figure out what I'm doing. And drove off. And I was like, say what? Now, he was right to drive off. He was absolutely right to drive off, But Mr. James Guller, you gonna see me. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I know where you be at. Imagine somebody saying that who likes to surround themselves and try to be in the mix of all things black, and to say a nigger following me. What? I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing because now you spiked my interest. Like I want to know. But the fact that you would have the balls to say that he's not in the best shape. He's an older man, so I don't know why you would feel comfortable with saying that. But folks say things. It's crazy the times we live.
And he's supposed to be a Democrat?
No, he ain't no Democrat.
Oh.
He's definitely not a Democrat. He just finds himself like he did teach though. He was a teacher. But no, he's absolutely not a Democrat.
Yeah, that says a lot.
It does, right?
It says a lot right there.
He taught what, bigotry and white supremacy 101?
Yeah. Why nigga follow me? Wow. That's crazy.
It is a little bit strange. That was
right.
like Jill, you were about to say something.
I wanted to share something, but I didn't want to interrupt that right there. So
Go ahead.
if anybody has anything else to say on good old Northwest Florida Panhandle. Boy, I tell you what. Whew. I did want to share, mostly because it's not just because this was a personal family member and friend, but because his depth and his reach was so far across Northwest Florida. We lost Anthony Tony Avance Sr., and we were able to go to his homegoing service yesterday in Alabama. And the amount of people that flew in from cross country to see him, and almost all of Eglin Air Force Base was there, and friends and family, and everyone who spoke of how he just shared love and gave, and they were telling stories that even his mom was like, what? He used to go to one of the pastors and say, hey, tell me some families that don't have anything. Don't tell I did it, and I'm just going to bless them. And literally, Christmas gifts were dropped off at their houses. His family and his mom, nobody knew until this pastor got up. He said, I can say it now. Tony, you can't say anything now because you're already in heaven. So I got to share the secret. And it just was, Tony, for many of us, was just an amazing individual that would give you his life if he needed to. And he always stepped up. I met him through my ex at the time. That was my husband. And even after we separated, and we've been separated, divorced for a lot of years, maybe 12 years, I can't even remember, but a long time. And he still was there. He still called, checked on the kids. Jenna and I just talked to him on Monday and Tuesday. He died on Wednesday, and it was shockingly devastating. But what I will also share, he finally found the love of his life. He had a fiance. They were about to get married in a month. It was just an amazing service. He's an amazing person. But what I will say to the men, this is a thank you from the family that they sent out to everybody. What I will say to the men, and the mom said it at the funeral, stop ignoring your symptoms. Stop not going to the doctor. Stop thinking that you're just going to be okay. Tony had heart pressure and pain and got in a car and died driving down the road, and it could have been even worse than it was. But there he is, in lifelike form. He had on a very, he just is amazing. That's the best I can say. He will be missed. He's one of those irreplaceable people. And the love that was shown in that room, from the youngest to the oldest, he saved somebody's life, knocked on their door, and the guy was having a stroke and almost died, and he didn't want to go to the doctor, and Tony called the ambulance and said, you can get your butt up and go. And the guy was like, he saved my life. And you know what else he said? Good old Crestview. He said, don't take him to Crestview because he won't make it. We need to go to Pensacola. And I'm in the room, and I forgot where I was, and I'm snapping my fingers and said, say that again. And everybody turned and looked at me. I was like, well, I live there, so I can say that. But I forgot where I was. Jenna's like hitting me in my arm like, Mom. And I was like, I can't help it. He's telling the truth. But to all those that knew him, those who didn't, you missed out on an amazing man that truly cared for everybody. He uplifted. He didn't want his flowers. They tried to give him his flowers the other day before he died. They just saw in a meeting. He was like, this isn't about me. This is about y'all. This is always about y'all. And so to Tony, you are loved. And I am sure that God is super happy that you're up there with him. But it is super difficult for us down here to have to let go. And his mom said, I know you needed him more, but we just need to deal with it here first, and then we'll be better and understand. But for those of you who knew him, who have helped the family, who have sent food, sent gifts, flowers, encouraging words, know that the hardest time for the family is going to be the after. And I think all of us that have lost loved ones know it's that silent time. It's when all the family moves out. It is when the kids have to go. He had 3 kids. When the kids have to go back to work. When the granddaughter keeps asking for Poppy, where's Poppy, where's Poppy? Too young to understand he's not here, but that family's going to need people to come around them. And so I would just say to everyone, life is hard sometimes, and it's hard to take that separation, or at least it was for me, because I understand how important it is to go out and vote and do this. But that the moment I heard, and then yesterday was just a time for me to say, hey, I can't. For the second, Derek, I didn't do politics because I couldn't do politics. But I do know that if we want a life here on earth that's going to be better, then you have to vote. And I think Tony would say that. And yeah. So I just want to take that time. I thank this group for allowing me to share that. I did send it to Vernon so that he would know, because a lot of people knew him, from Escambia all the way down to Miami. And like I said, across the country, people flew in from Germany, Ohio. It was crazy, the amount of people that could not miss the opportunity to share his life. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jill, for that. And our condolences to his family and friends and loved ones. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. Moving on, let's go ahead and get into business. I know we are scheduled to have a special guest joining us in the second half of the show. So let's talk a little bit about a couple of things. And I want to talk about the results of the Michigan primary that occurred this past week. There were two, I think, noteworthy races that came out of that. And one was, I forget the man's name. Now I've gotten it. Muhammad El Said won his Michigan primary, and shout out to him. He was endorsed and he came out on top. But the one that I find comical this week is the other Michigan congressional candidate who was a GOP candidate, Amir Hassan. Did you guys hear about him in his race?
I didn't hear about him. What happened?
I did.
It's funny, right? I'm like, wow, no matter what you do, I think there was a life lesson in it. But Amir Hassan was a Black man from Flint, Michigan, who ran in this congressional race, right? He's a Republican, and he was facing an older white gentleman, Jim, somebody, I don't know. And so about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, the older white gentleman, James, we'll call it whatever, he was struggling, right? He'd raised about $2,000 in his campaign treasury. Wasn't technically at all enough. Well, he couldn't log on to the Michigan divisions of elections. He couldn't do anything. So he said, I quit. Like, I'm out, right? I'm out. And he couldn't even submit his withdrawal the formal way because he couldn't log in. So he wrote, he got his piece of spiral notebook paper, like, and tore it out the notebook and hand wrote his letter to say that he withdrew and sent it to whatever, I guess the Michigan Division of Elections, whatever they're called, right? So he was withdrawn, and he endorsed somebody else. I don't know. Is that the man? Was Thomas the one who withdrew, or that's his name? Thomas.
Thomas is the one that withdrew.
Thomas is the one who withdrew, right? So he withdrew, right, and endorsed, John. He didn't endorse Amir, the Black man who's from Flint. He endorsed somebody else.
Al Limo.
Now, who is it?
Al Limo.
He endorsed Al Limo, right? And then Trump comes in and is like, Amir, he's my man. If he can't do it, no one can. Like, Amir. And people in Michigan went down to the voting booth and they voted overwhelmingly for the man who dropped out. Some people said, nah, Negro, not you. We want the man who don't want us. Like, they overwhelmingly voted for the man who dropped out. So for all intents and purposes, he shouldn't have been on the ballot, but I guess because it was too near time, they'd already printed their ballots, they didn't have a choice. But the man who dropped out
Won.
won the congressional race. That is hilarious to me. Like, when Trump himself comes down and says, I anoint you, the Michigan GOP people said, no, thank you. They accused him of being Muslim. They accused him of being a Muslim from Haiti, like, which maybe that's a thing. I don't know that I've ever met a Muslim person from Haiti, but I don't know all Haitians. But like, they just went everywhere but the Trump endorsement, right? And so it begs me to wonder, is that the fate for all Black GOP people or Black Republicans? Or did it just be was it just a fluke in Michigan? Jamil, what are your thoughts?
Well, this was a great thing to wake up to the day after Michigan's primary. I heard about this literally the exact same time that you hear about Abdul El Sayed winning the Democratic primary for Senate, and I was just like, this is like the greatest game that I've seen played in politics. Does MAGA take the word of their leader, or do they allow their racism to supersede listening to their leader? I mean, tokens get spent. So, yeah.
The archangel of white supremacy. They didn't listen to.
Tokens get spent. Is always my favorite saying when it comes to these Black people who want to bow and kiss the ring of MAGA. So, I know where you're getting at when it comes to this there. Because here in the state of Florida, we have, proud young gentleman from the state of New York. Lives down here, and he's old congressional guy. He's now running for governor by the name of Byron Donalds. And I just want to know if MAGA once again is going to take the word of their leader, or allow their racism to supersede taking the word of their leader. We only have what's the 9th? We only have 9 days to find out, ladies and gentlemen. But me personally, I think for the primary, and I could be wrong. Lord knows I want to be wrong. I think for the primary, people are going to take the word of their MAGA leader here in the state of Florida, and they're going to let the man that tap dance his way
to the general election,
to this congressional seat, tap dance his way once again into the general election. You can take that in whatever context that you want to take that in, just as long as you don't forget the shuck with the jive. All right, back to you, Derek.
Yeah, Mr. McIntosh, what say you?
I'm with Jamil. They might let him tap dance to the general election, but then that make America white again gonna show up, and they just not. It's gonna be some of them gonna pull it for him, but a whole lot. So I don't think they will for the general election, and they'll archangel of white supremacy. I don't think he's gonna be able to make a difference in that, but he think he is. But a lot of his people are already pulling away from him. Some of his MAGA people pulling away from a little bit from, and I don't know how true it is, but the media reporting that about 35% of Republicans are saying they're not going to vote for him. They're not going to vote for a Democrat. They're going to stay home or whatever, which, either way would be fine with me, whether they vote or not. But because they the one got us into this mess in the first place. I have no sympathy for anybody that knew what you was getting, because you wanted to kill abortion. You wanted to destroy everybody else. And, forgetting what Martin Luther King said, that we all tied together in a single garment of destiny, whatever affect one directly, indirectly affect all. But they wanted, they was listening to him, make America great again, which meant make America white again. And there are those who are out there actually saying it, they are not hiding it at all. They're just saying out loud what he is telling them through, the prism of make America great again, which in other words, they want to go back to the days of slavery where Black people were doing their bidding, feeding their children off of Black women's breasts, and then turn around and sell those same women after their children get a certain age, wean off of the Black mother's breast, kill their fathers, put them in prison and all that. So they want to go back to that time, a time that should have never been in the first place. So, and Brian Downs, their henchman here in Florida, is, him and the Clarence Thomas of the world, they will help put us back into that period if they could, as if, we're going to not go, if we're going to go back into that time without a fight, it's not going to happen. And, because you can see all over social media where they are rolling up on people, calling them niggers and all of that, and getting the hell beat out of them at the same time. So that let you know right there that people are not going to take what they had to take at one time, even though law enforcement is still on their side to do the dirty work of these people. They just found another 15-year-old girl in a park dead in Mississippi. The young lady that was hung up in a tree, they said that she was so high up in the tree, they know that it couldn't have been suicide, but that's what they're going to label as suicide. Other young men have been gone somewhere with other white boys that we're going to have to tell our children, hey, now for young people, don't go anywhere by yourself with a gang of people that just because you think they're your friends. Once they get to drinking and stuff, they turn on you. So the Brian Donaldson of the world, they might let him shuck and jive into the primary or get through the primary because they think he's so articulate. He's such a gentleman. Yeah, because he's not saying anything. Because he said we were better off doing segregation and during the 50s and 60s when they were taking everything from us and burning everything to the ground. Yeah, we would have been better off if we could have kept everything that we built and owned. But it's not happening that way.
So I am curious. I saved Jill for last because Jill and I have had this conversation several times about whether MAGA is going to pull the lever for their board. And we're seeing MAGA in other places saying, Negroes uninvited, no thank you. So I'm curious, Jill. Of course, we know that, I think, to Jamil and Mr. McIntosh's point, that he will mosey on through the primary. Will they pull the lever? Pull the lever. Are they going to pull it?
So I think Derek did this on purpose.
Mhm.
Since I know, let me tell you what I think. That's what I know. What I think is this. I think there's just a slight bit difference because in Michigan, they had another option. It was still a Republican. After August 18th, that's their only option. So now they have to choose between MAGA and black together or a Democrat or an MPA. Like there's no other option for them. If they stay home, then they give the election to the Democrats. And my question would be, does the bell that they ring every other time, is it strong enough for them to just check box? And they literally have to do that. Check box. Because if they stay home, then the Democrats win. Like it's an audit. It just is. If they stay home, they give it up. And so, are you willing to get? But he's white, so or if the person who wins the Democratic nominee happens to be a white person, would that make them more comfortable, even though they don't have the R by their name? And it's hard to believe that they would change so drastically in Florida. And I can't tell you about the rest of the states, but in Florida, that they would change so drastically to that ringing of the bell where they just go vote. It would be hard to believe. It'd be fabulous. I hope Derek's right, because Derek believes that they're going to sit at home, and I hope he's right. I hope he's right. The only problem I have with that is that we got Democrats and MPAs that might also sit at home or choose an MPA because they don't necessarily like the Democrats. So it seems to me like we have a whole bunch of issues of people sitting at home. And
No, I don't believe they're going to sit at home. That's not mine.
oh, you've changed.
No. I didn't. You said sit at home. Meaning
Well, they're not going to vote for him, regardless of whether they sit at home or they vote for somebody else. The bottom line is you feel like they're not going to vote for him and they don't have another a Republican to choose from at that point.
So I'm glad you raised the point where you said that, it's just them. They only got a Republican. I want to remind you about the 2026 special election that, if you recall, took place earlier this year for House District 87. Which is in Trump's own neighborhood, right? And I think the lady that won that was Emily Gregory.
Emily Gregory, yes.
She won House District 87. They had a black GOP Trump endorsed. They said that man, I forget what that man's name is.
Yeah.
John Maples. He said, "Come on, vote for John. If he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Vote for John. He's our man."
He definitely was a Trump endorsed candidate.
He was a Trump endorsed candidate in Florida, and the people in Palm Beach said, "Get somebody else to do it." Okay. And so they gave the seat to a Democrat. They flipped it to a Democratic seat in the home where the man in the orange hat and with the orange skin lived.
In his house.
I can't tell you that if it happens, I'll be super happy. But to see the entire state of Florida, or at least those places that really this year everybody matters. We always all mattered, but this year I'm telling you that I don't want to say too much. And if we could talk about this after August 18th, because what I need to say, I can't say until after August 18th. I have a whole conversation that we can have after August 18th when we get our Democratic nominee. Then I can share what I need to share, but I really can't say anything right now because let's just say our Democratic nominee happened to be black too. Then what they gonna do? Then they got blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying, what they gonna do then? They just gonna sit at home and it won't matter. Which very well could have been the case if Jerry Deming stayed in. He's not in. I don't want to predict the election. So I would like to let people go out and do what they're going to do. But if you want to talk about this very conversation, the weekend after August,
like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks from
we
now.
can have that conversation, and then I can be honest and real. It's just easier for me to do it that way.
Okay, all right. Well,
Then we can get into all of that. But right now, with people still voting, because just imagine for a moment if Jerry Demings was still in it, and if he were to have won, because then you would have black, and black. So then what? Everybody staying on?
yeah. So
I'm just asking. So it doesn't like I at some point. I really want to see how. I think it will open our eyes to how strong the Republican Party is, or that there always was a weakness, and we just didn't. They did it to themselves. Like, I wish we would have done it. I wish we would have found Donaldson for them. If he's the weak link, then we should have been finding that person for them and putting them up on the ballot. So we could have done this a long time ago. I didn't need to go through hell just to get here, if that's all it took. But that's me.
I will say, I've been looking at some of the, I guess I pay attention to some of the other counties along I-10 and what they're doing. And I saw on the Republican groups in I-10, on the I-10 corridor, so like Santa Rosa, Unokaloosa, Washington, Holmes, Jackson. I don't think Jet Bay was in there. They were telling everybody the person that has their eye is James Fishback. And so, again, I wonder, and I guess to your point, and we can discuss it on in 2 weeks from now, set your calendar. I'm certain that there will be many of MAGA people that will follow the orders. But I think, like, if I had to break it down, I think those people live in the center and in the southwest part of in the southern part of the state. I don't think they live along I-10 corridor. I just don't think that. And not that that's a whole lot of voters, but it's enough to make the difference. If those people sat at home, if we think, I think about it like this: if we activated in the Panhandle enough in 2018 to swing the election from Graham to Gillum, their inactivation along the Panhandle should be enough to swing a different. Just my thought.
So you were asking, did I think in the primary that they would do it?
No, I think and I think he's going to win the primary. I just don't.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're going to pull it in the
can't
general.
have the rest of the conversation until after the primary. But if you're asking in the primary, I mean, that would be their opportunity if they want to do something. That would be the time. So why? I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to help them think, because I can tell you a couple of things that I would do if I was them. But if you weren't going to vote for him later on, then why not just not vote for him now? But somebody else in that you can vote for. But that's just me. Like, that would make sense. And they have a better structure or communication or whatever you want to call it, because I'm not a Republican, so I don't really know what it is, but I just know they ring the bell and they do. And they show up and they vote and they just do. So whatever that bell is, that system that they have, you would think that if he was going to be that big of an issue, that they would be ringing their bell undercover to make sure that he didn't get through, because it would be tragic for them to do that, and we would accept it. Go ahead, give the governorship to us, we'll take it, but they may never get it back.
They got so much. One thing you were saying, Jill, they got so much money behind them. They got all these billionaires. Then they got the airwaves behind them, where they are, even airwaves that we thought was somewhat more down the middle or supposed to be mainstream, but all of them been taken over by the right wing of this country. And, OWN, MS, CNN, all those been taken over by the right wing who have bought them out. So they have to, toe the line for the conservative. Even all of the local channels has been sucked up around the country. So everything is geared toward them. And the thing about it, Democrats going to have to come up with a better strategy of getting their language out and what they need to, the policies and issues out that they need to address. Through maybe setting up a form of their own, investing in something like a Fox News, something like that, that's going to give you a different point of view all the time, and to somebody who can toe the line on what's going on. Because once they say something like they talking about communism now because of the Democrats, socialists, they are, Trump, them, all of them on the same. We don't need communism. We don't need communism. I was watching today, they showed about 10 people up and talking about communism, and communism has never been effective in America and has never affected anything here in America. But that's what they use when they want to tagline somebody and make them into something they are not. Get back to you, Derek.
So I want to again approach the next story with the sensitivity that it deserves. But for those unaware, Andrew Gillum is back in the news cycle again. And he was arrested again on drug usage charges. So for those unaware, if you've been following the story a couple months ago, not even a couple months, but I guess about a month ago, over the 4th of July weekend, he was arrested over in Daphne, Alabama, on possession of methamphetamines and weed and whatnot. And he was, a lot of the conversation was, okay, well, he was just arrested. We still got to prove he had it, but he wasn't usage, because we did find out later that several of our news outlets broke that he had tested negative for substance. Well, during, I guess, as part of his trial process or criminal process, he's been subjected to random court drug testing, and he missed his last test and came the next day, and he tested positive for methamphetamines in the system. Our thoughts and prayers are to him and his family. Hope he gets the help he deserves. Mr. McIntosh, what are your thoughts?
I was hoping that he didn't get caught up like that again. But he just, I guess he can't, you have to have some kind of self-control, especially when people are watching you and the spotlight is on you. So you have to be careful what you do. And I'm not condemning him because if he did have some marijuana or something, it's pretty much legal. He just could get him a doctor's pass. That's what everybody else do. And you can have it legal. You can go to the what you call the place and get as much as you want.
Dispensary.
The dispensary, and get as much as you want if you need to, if you want it like that. So ain't no use of letting somebody catch you doing it illegal. The methamphetamine, I don't know about that, but I know you can get off.
It's not legally sold in anything.
No, it's not legally sold, right? I'm saying I don't know how to deal with that part of it, but
right.
But it's people even in states where it's legal at, it's still people getting caught up. So You have to be careful with whatever you do, And I just hate it because his potential was so great at one time before here in the state of Florida and for the country, because he had the charisma, he had the he knew how to speak the language of the time, how to address policy and issues and racism and all that, and then to get caught up like he did it's disappointing, I would say, but he's just a human being, I guess. But that might need to go and get himself some help. That's exactly what he need. He need to get some help, some psychological help as well, because we got 34 count felon. Somebody been adjudicated as a rapist and all kinds of fraud and the violation of the monument clauses and just ripping this country to threads, and nothing is said, and that nobody's going after that person. So, I can sympathize with a Black person that get caught up like that, because we see it every day, how the country is being ripped off, and nobody's saying anything about those individuals and putting their face out on the marketplace of supposed ideas. But I digress.
Mill or Jill, do you have any thoughts?
I don't even know why you brought this story up, Jared.
Does it happen?
I know, but still, we have so many things we could be talking about. But since you did bring it up, part of me wants to go into my old HR self, where people used to get drug tests done, and it's no lie, people would have so many stories when they would come true, like poppy seeds to make opiates come lower. I was like, okay, go show me your picture where you ate poppy seeds. Give me the receipt. I almost want to say, okay, what can make meth? And there are some medications that can make methamphetamines be positive. However, I also think he knew he was being tested, because you get tested. He just happened to slip through when they did the automatic ones or the random ones. He should have known when you walked in that courtroom they were going to do it. And I really do hope that he gets the help that he needs, whatever the case may be. Because this is 30 days later, and you can't keep doing 30 days. He already has a target on his back. He literally almost was the governor.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's ever going to forget that. And so his walk is going to be harder than everybody else's, because they're so scared that he might come back. Yeah. So I hope for his family, for himself, that he's given the opportunity to give so many other people to get the help that he needs.
He got children too. So that's, I feel for them, because everything that he do is going to reflect on them as well. And like you say, I hope he gets all the help that he needs, and whatever he needs to do, even if he had to move out of this state, to get the target off his back, if he can.
Camila, any comments?
My honest feeling is that former Mayor Gillum, I'm always give people the respect that they deserve in the space that they served in. Needs to do a hard reset. This is a complete hard reset. No media appearances. chill off of native land for a little bit. And it's not to say, it's not to speak in a negative fashion about, the podcast that he does or anything. It's just now your focus should be on getting yourself together, if for no one else but for your wife and your children. Because right now this should be the most important thing in this hard reset for you. That's number one. Number two, these people not fooling nobody. Like, we want to constantly and consistently keep bringing this up in media, especially media around the state of Florida, because y'all want to put people in a space where it brings them a sense of fear to try to run for any type of top of the ticket type situation, because they, like, the majority of the time they will, like, sometimes they will say former mayor of Tallahassee and former Democratic nominee for governor. But the majority of the time they bring up Andrew Gillum, the main thing and the only thing they always say is former Democratic nominee for governor in 2018. Y'all not fooling nobody. But, like, people not falling for y'all scare tactics no more. Like, this is not a thing that people have to be fearful over. We literally have 2 Black women currently running for the office of governor here in the state of Florida, and we have a Black woman currently running for the office of United States Senator here in the state of Florida. Ain't nobody studying y'all, man. Ain't nobody studying y'all tactics, especially Ronald DeSantis. Ain't nobody scared of you. And it's just, this is a thing that if this was anyone else, this wouldn't be a prominent piece of the news cycle. But because it's the Black dude that almost became the governor of Florida over the person who's currently the governor now, by losing by what would in most cases be half a county.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be serious. 35,000 votes is half a county.
And a small county at that.
That one. And so, yeah, like, we always want to bring a negative light to the guy that could have completely changed, that if governor could have completely changed the course of how the state is looked at and the state is represented in media as well as within the political infrastructure. So, yeah, man, I just want people to know and understand, ain't nobody scared of y'all. It's not soul out here that's scared of y'all.
I'll tell you.
Bro.
Just also, well, Derek, back to you. See what you.
Go ahead. You were about to say something. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, that, while we're, I hit on a little bit, but there's a lot of lynching and police brutality that's taking place in this country against us, as if there's an all-out war on Black people again in the country. Even though the war never stopped, because they had a war on drugs, which is nothing but a war on Black people, putting Black people in prisons for years on end. Many of them, 50% of all the people that exonerated in this country are Black, because they found out through DNA and other things that it was crime that they was accused of that they didn't commit. They were people that was put in prison under mandatory sentences for for just using some marijuana. They got caught with a bag of marijuana and got mandatory sentence. People who was maybe stole a sandwich because they were hungry. 3 strikes you out, getting 5 to 15 years for a sandwich, because, they were hungry. Just the whole host of things that have taken place. But we have to make sure that people know what's taking place in this country. Unfortunately, I would say through social media, we are seeing, and the people are telling the story about different people. They're talking about Nolan, but at the same time, there was 4 or 5 other drownings that have taken place. It's been 4 or 5 lynchings during the same period. And before they even do an investigation, it is adjudicated as a suicide by law enforcement, not going through the proper channels, but they go out there and say, "Oh, that was a suicide," and so the media said it was a suicide. No, the family said it wasn't, because these people was doing something else. One young man was getting, like Nolan, he was getting ready to go to college. Other ones was getting ready to go to college. Others was doing other things, just getting their first house and stuff of that nature. Just a whole host of things. But all of a sudden, all of that is now they've committed suicide because of that. Because somebody said they committed suicide. I see we have someone else up there, but I'll digress.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure, as this part is, we're up for early voting. As you know, it started in the Panhandle, well, certainly in Santa Rosa County, just yesterday, or no, earlier this week, in Okaloosa County and Escambia County. Just started early voting yesterday, right? While the numbers are out, our office has, well, I have gotten a lot of questions or comments that are like, who, I don't know the people, who's the folks. And I know last week, I unfortunately didn't get a chance to stick around, but we were able to hear from Representative Angie Nixon, who is running for the United States Senate in the state of Florida. We had the opportunity here in Pensacola and in Okaloosa County and Santa Rosa County to hear, but we had to scurry off to Atlanta. And so as people are starting to come in and are like, okay, who do we vote for? And I've screamed it from every mountaintop and from every social media post that I am Team Angie Nixon all day. I wanted to give folks who hadn't had an opportunity, because our viewer audience is long and broad. We go from here all the way to, I think, Mr. Vernon, Panama City, if I'm not correct. But for those folks who hadn't gotten a chance to hear from her, I just wanted you guys to hear from Rep. Nixon herself, who's running for United States Senate. So I'm going to turn the floor. I know she is in between places, and we'll be up here in just in the morning. So I wanted to turn it over to Rep. Nixon so that you guys had an opportunity to hear from her and she could tell you a little bit more about us. Rep. Nixon, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Hey, for sure. So, hey, everyone, I am Angie Nixon. I am on the road, leaving Brevard County, headed to North Florida now. But I am born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 5. Me and my husband have a blended family. And I've been a state lawmaker for the past 6 years. Ron DeSantis banned books. I opened up a banned bookstore, and I decided to run for United States Senate because I believe that our economy should work for everyone. And right now, that's just not the case. Right now, we have politicians in Washington like unelected Ashley Moody and Donald Trump who are looking out just for their campaign donors. They're not looking out for everyday people like us on this call and all the viewers. And I believe that we should make sure that small business owners are the lifeline of this country, and so we need to make sure that we are bailing out our small businesses and not these big corporations. I also believe that everyday working folks should determine and shape what our communities look like and what our economies look like, and that's just not happening. Instead, we have Ashley Moody voting against extending the ACA subsidies, the Affordable Care Act subsidies, because her campaign donors, which are health insurance companies, don't want her to extend them, and they wanted to make more money. And guess what? They did. Nearly 300,000 people dropped off of the Affordable Care Act rolls. Meanwhile, these insurance companies have jacked up our healthcare premiums, some up to 300%, so that they can make more money, right? And also just thinking about Ashley Moody, who I'm trying to unseat come November. Ashley Moody is she was unelected. She was appointed. She was rewarded for this Senate seat after she decided to allow $10 million that was supposed to go towards the most medically needy people in the state of Florida, children actually, and it was rerouted into defeating two citizen-led ballot initiatives back in 2024. Ashley Moody just basically kisses the butt of whatever executive she needs to kiss the butt of, right? Hold their water. She did it for Ron DeSantis when she allowed that money to be moved around. She also did it for Donald Trump when he was unseated in 2020. She decided to file a lawsuit saying that the election was stolen, right? And now we see Donald Trump going on national news saying that the election was stolen, right? He's really trying to lay the foundation to remain in office again. And so we don't need people like Ashley Moody. Ashley Moody doesn't care about us. She doesn't respond to emails. She doesn't respond to phone calls. She refused to actually come out and have in-person town hall meetings. I, on the other hand, am a community organizer who's also an elected official who considers myself a public servant. And I am fully accessible. I go out and answer questions and I'm willing to debate. My primary opponent won't even debate me. I am also someone who has an open door policy as a state lawmaker, and I plan to have an open door policy when I become your next United States Senator. I believe that we just need to be passing common sense laws, right? Healthcare is a right. It's a right. We need Medicare for all. People's healthcare should not be tied to whether or not they can afford it. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The fact that we are allowing people to be denied access to life-saving medical treatment because they cannot afford it. There's a lot of people that can't afford it. And so we're just saying they should die. Also, like, medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy. Like, people are literally going bankrupt because they're trying to stay alive. Again, we need to support Medicare for all, which is something that I am an advocate for. I'm supportive of, and I'm actually the only candidate that feels that we need Medicare for all. I'm also the only candidate that believes we need universal child care. The cost of child care is ridiculous, y'all. I have a 5-year-old, and I pay $1,000 a month. And I know people that pay $2,400 a month. And I know someone that pays $4,500 a month in Massachusetts. That is unaffordable. And it should not be. And if we want our children to start school on time and have a strong foundation, we need to have universal child care. And also, if we want more workers in the workforce, we should have universal child care because it will free up the parents to be able to go to work, right? We also need to wind down these wars of choice. It's only allowing defense contractors to get richer. It is only allowing Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, to get richer. And so we need to wind down these wars of choice. We also need to make sure that we rein in Donald Trump. Actually, we need to impeach him and remove him, right? And so we need to impeach and remove him. because he has actively called for the death and assassination of sitting Congress members, right? He's threatened sitting Supreme Court justices, and he's spending $1 billion on a ballroom we'll never get to dance in. But I think something just happened recently, right? That they told him he can't do this. He can't spend that money. But look, y'all, these folks are literally selling our country off to the highest bidder. And I am just simply trying to run for United States Senate so that I can put the power back in the hands of the people and I can pass common sense legislation. I noticed that, like, it's not hard. Like, elected officials try to make things so hard, and it's not. They want to make it sound so complex because they want to make you feel like it can't happen. And no, we have to have the political courage and will to do it. And so I am someone who has the political courage and will to stand up for hardworking everyday people. And I plan to do that when I become your next United States Senator. And I'm here asking for your support. And I'm also willing to take any questions that you all may have of me tonight.
Thank you so much, Rep. Nixon. Mr. McIntosh, I'll start with you as the executive producer. Do you have anything that you would like to ask Rep. Nixon while she's with us tonight?
First of all, I just want to thank her for coming on with us tonight. And whenever we are in Tallahassee, I know we always see her. And then, as she stated early, or you stated earlier that she's been here in Northwest Florida talking to the people, making sure that the people know who she are, what she stands for. Representative Nixon, again, what is your top priorities as far as, I know everything you talked about is really really a priority, but what is your top priority?
Yeah, my top priority as I travel all across the state of Florida, man, people are struggling, and especially like folks are one emergency away from losing it all. And so on day one, I'm going to work to repeal I'm going to file legislation to extend the ACA subsidies so that we can drive down the cost of these high premium costs and to make healthcare affordable once again. And so that's my number one priority. And then also removing these working family taxes that Donald Trump put in place, which are tariffs to help drive down the cost of food, of clothes, of life, right? Like driving down the cost of life. And so that's number two. And then also, I believe like universal child care, we definitely need that as well. But also winding down these wars because we are losing our men and women. And this is just, a war. We got money for war, but don't want to feed the poor is basically shout out to Tupac, the poet laureate.
So let me ask you this. I don't know if a United States senator has anything to do with it, but would you have anything to do with the cost of homeowners insurance and car insurance, or is that just a state issue?
It's a state issue, but like we could also have some federal control over like the reinsurance with the state government, like the federals. We can be a kind of like a backstop, right? I believe that we need to have a public-private. I'm not a public-private partnership, Lord. I believe we need to work in tandem with the state government. I really believe there needs to be a fully funded public option, right? Instead of allowing the shareholders to get profit. Think about it, right? Like if it was a fully funded public option, the government could set the cost of insurance and the profits that they would get wouldn't go to shareholders. It could actually go to a catastrophe fund that could be tapped into in case of a big natural disaster. Like, let's be real, right? Like they're already tapping into the government anyway. When there's a huge storm, these insurance companies can't pay everything out. And so they go to the feds. And so just cut them out, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. And we can lower people's premiums and we can actually have a fund set aside for people to tap into. The only people that would be upset are the insurance company. Guess who would be happy? Everyday people.
I tell you. Back to you, Dare.
Yes, Joe.
Angie, it's so good to see you again. It's like we just keep running into her. And guess what? She is coming back to Okaloosa. I believe that's where you're driving to, and you're in far, far away. And so we know the drive because we do it every time they have any meeting whatsoever. And we apologize. I hope somebody is driving you and that you will get some rest. But we are looking forward to seeing you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
That's Rap. That was Rap McCarty.
Oh,
Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 8:30. When we get done, it is 8:30 in the morning. I didn't do it. Janae and Steve, that's who you need to talk to. It is. It's
No, you don't.
8:30 in the
that's
morning.
all right.
It's okay. It's gonna be good.
I'm looking up on my calendar to be like, is it at 8:30?
Well, that's what they told us, and you make sure you confirm. But that's what they told us because we did this.
It
I
is
know.
at
I
8:30.
know. I know. Right? Okay. So, thanking you for the long, long drive that you're going to take to get here, and then be with us at 8:30 in the morning. So, thank you for that. I think what I would like for you to share with people, because we're 9 days away. And your team, your grassroots team, is working so very hard. What you had the other night was actually inspiring. It was energetic. It was like, I got to do this. Like we all got on. What did we get on? Reach again. We haven't been on Reach in over a year. And your team said, get on Reach. We got out our phones. We got on Reach just so that we could be connected. And then they said, we don't have enough. So I'm calling Derek. Get everybody on Reach. I don't want to get on Reach. Get on Reach anyway. This is for Angie. We're going to do it. He's like, okay, it's for Angie. I'm doing it. So there's so many of us that are so inspired by you, that are so looking forward to a change in the future. But what would you say to someone who, especially in our area, I'm going to ask this question. If you can't answer it, it's okay. But in our area, because we do have the most military people here, we really do. Okaloosa has the number one, and Santa Rosa and Escambia are right behind that. Who are just looking at, okay, we got Angie Nixon, and then we have somebody that was a veteran. Tell them why. Like we tell them, but I think they need to hear it from you. What's the difference and why does it matter? Like, it takes more than just a title. And I could sell it for you, but I think you can do it so much better than I can.
Yeah, for sure. So it's important to vote for me because I'm someone who always shows up outside of election season, like year round, all the time. I didn't just visit the Panhandle this year or last year. That wasn't my first time. I was visiting it before, right? I didn't just start advocating for people, right? Like I've been doing it. I helped increase the minimum wage as a statewide organizer. You know, I've helped people find housing before I became a state rep, right? I helped increase the minimum wage before I was a state rep. And so we need someone that's going to show up all the time, not when it seems easy to get a seat, right? We need someone who is going to listen to people, who's willing to talk to people and not run away. Who's willing to show up and meet with people even if they don't believe the same things you believe ideologically, or even worship the same way you worship.
Then we lose.
No one is inherently racist. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can y'all see me?
We hear you.
No, we can't see
Okay.
you're frozen, but we can hear
All
you.
right. We're driving. Yeah, I apologize. I'm
It's
driving
fine.
through a dead zone, I guess. But I believe we all deserve the same thing. We all deserve to be healthy, prosperous, and safe. And I know what Floridians are facing because I've been facing it with them. I've been facing it with them. And I have been like on the front lines fighting back these attacks, 10 toes down for nearly 2 decades here in the state of Florida. And what this race is about is like someone who knows what it's like to work inside of a toxic work environment like the Florida State Legislature and still get things accomplished. I was able to expand access to early childhood education for low income and working families. I have been able to stop price gouging from happening. And I've just been showing up always, even when it's not about me, even when it doesn't benefit me, showing up when people are being oppressed and beaten down and marginalized just because it's the right thing to do. And I'm the only candidate in the primary that can say that.
Thank you for that. Jamil, do you have anything?
Wait, can I say one other thing?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
And for me, Angie, I think that it's because you have those experiences. I watch some of your videos, your kids, like you understand. And to me, people who have lived it just get it better. And you fight for what you know you either had to fight for, you continue to fight for. And I think that resonates across the state. I think people are seeing in you themselves or their loved ones or their friends or their family. And that makes the hope, the dream possible, because we know you're fighting.
Yes.
Like you're literally driving up and down the road, you're fighting, you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. But the story is our story. It's what we live every single day. And you get it. And for that, I just want to say thank you for just bringing it to the forefront. Instead of all the BS that everybody else wants to talk about, you're talking about real life situations that happen to all of us every single day.
Yeah. We deserve so much more. Like, we all deserve to be healthy, prosperous, and safe, to experience rest and joy. Rest and joy. So many people can't get rest, or they're not experiencing joy. They're experiencing pain, and they're working harder than ever and still struggling just to stay afloat. And it doesn't have to be this way. It should not be this way. And we need to send people to DC who understand that and who aren't going to do and be the status quo. Because look what the status quo has gotten us. The status quo has gotten us seniors that should be getting their just due rest working at fast food restaurants because they have to, not because they want to. People dying because they aren't getting the medical care that they need. Teachers and veterans living on the streets. That's what status quo has gotten us. Status quo and strongly worded emails.
Absolutely. Jamil, do you have anything?
Rep Nixon, what's going on? How are we this?
I'm riding down the street.
Shout out to the 2022 protest tag team of Nixon and McCurdy in the van doing things. And also Jaleesa says hello. It was her first time voting in Florida today. And you know, we voted for you. So they're all thanks.
Did you vote for me?
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
So My question is that you haven't hit it. You've been very vocal about it, about the protests that occurred this year, while trying to just simply get a meeting on the schedule with Governor DeSantis, and how we are moving into a trial date of September. What is your message of reassurance that you want to give to people as we go into this election, so that way they will know that you are always and continually will be the right choice, even in spite of current situations that the state is trying to put you through?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the late great Congressman John Lewis said, get in good trouble, necessary trouble. These folks are literally trying to return us back to the worst chapters of our history. I mean, bruh, they gutting voting rights, like they're ending voting rights, and I only faced arrest, right? Like I didn't face dogs being sicked on me. I didn't face fire hoses. I didn't face being lynched. I'm sure some people would like to do that to me. I mean, just being honest, but like, who am I not to use my power and my platform to speak out and bring awareness about what's going on and to try to galvanize people? Like they're literally, again, destroying democracy. So what good is decorum in this moment? Like, I'm not going to sit by you doing this. Like, they were doing illegal and unconstitutional things. Like, we need to get loud. That's the only way we're going to save this democracy, or the only way we're going to build the democracy that we want, this new vision in this next 250 years.
That's it, y'all. That's all I got.
So they can just look at my track. They can just look at my track record. My bad. Like, I mean, I told somebody this earlier, just now in Brevard County. I'm like, they're like, what can you say? How can you keep us like sure? How can you ensure us that you're gonna do the right thing? I was like, look at my track record. Like, I've been nothing short of consistent, y'all. Like, y'all already know how I'm gonna vote for the people, always.
Listen, well, that's it. That's all I got. I just want my friend to get some rest. That's all.
Yeah, I was just about to say we want to thank you for joining us tonight. I know tomorrow you'll be at Small Batches Cafe and Collective, which is in Okaloosa and Fort Walton Beach at 8:30 in the morning. So get some rest. But the last thing that I have for folks who want to know how they can help you, aside from voting, because we talking about it every day. Aside from voting, what can they do to help you? Or how can they get more of?
So there's 3 T's. We need their time. We would love for them to volunteer, to knock on doors, to make phone calls. Also, low-hanging fruit, they need to text everybody in their phone that lives in the state of Florida to vote for me in this primary. Very low turnout. We need them to vote for me so that we can, in fact, win, right? We need their talent, whatever they good at. Y'all good at this radio stuff, this podcast. So y'all keep bringing me on, and I keep enjoying it and having fun spreading the message. So whatever folks are good at, let's do that talent. We want you to lend it to the campaign. And then lastly, we need your treasure. And so whatever you may have, I know some of y'all driving some nice cars. Go ahead and push that Sheen cart back a little bit, that Fashion Nova cart back a little bit, and donate to your girls' campaign right now. We need a little bit of change, so we can get some more signs out, because everybody keeps asking about signs. And so so we can continue to knock on doors and make more phone calls and all the things and go up on media a little. Y'all, we can do things. So we need everyone to go to AngieNixon.com. Follow my social media at Angie for Florida. We can win this, y'all. An independent poll came out that showed that I'm the strongest candidate in this race to be able to unseat Ashley Moody. And so I don't know what to tell y'all. I've unseated incumbents before. Then I spent 5-1. Did all of that while I was 9 months pregnant with COVID. I'm not 9 months pregnant. I don't have COVID. So I'm working hard up and down the street. I'm just needing y'all to lean in with me. Let's do this thing. When we fight, we win. And I'm ready to fight and win for the people of the great state of Florida.
Yes. Thank you so very much, Rep. Nixon. We look forward to seeing you in the morning. You guys travel safely.
Child, 8:30.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Vernon Watson from WBQP has a question. Go ahead, Mr. Vernon.
My question is, what are your message to those folks that just don't fit, black folks and white folks that just don't think they can push that button for a black woman?
For a black woman?
Yeah, but let's call it like it is. I sometimes you got folks that, even black folks, okay, just can't see that they are able to. And I hear people talking, well, she can't win.
Listen, what I would say is that I'm the only candidate in the race that believes that I work for y'all and y'all don't work for me. I'm the only candidate in the race that is willing to get arrested for y'all. Like, I'm putting my body on the line, like literally.
Amen.
And so I don't know what to tell them. If they do not feel like I can do a good job, it is what it is. But guess what? When I become their next United States Senator, like I have told people time and time again, if you need me, call me and we gonna help you solve the issues that you may have. And so I'm someone that's gonna work hard because it's the right thing to do. I love my state. I'm critical of my state, like I'm critical of this country, like I'm critical of the party, and that's because I love it and I want it to be better. And so it deserves to be better. And so I'm not one to just criticize, I'm one to do it. And that's why I'm running for office. And I plan on winning for the great state of Florida.
Thank you for that. I think if people were to educate themselves on what a fighter you are for them, I think that would eliminate any concern because they know that you're not fighting for you, you're fighting for them. Thank you, Angie.
Exactly.
Thank
you.
Travel
Have a good night.
in the morning.
Oh, was that it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, please go to sleep because you got a long drive.
Get some rest.
Get some rest.
8:30. 8:30.
8:30.
Wait.
I don't even want to tell you that we're an hour behind you. So
wait, is it 8:30 Central Time?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I knew that's what you were gonna ask.
Okay,
yes,
that's fine. Okay, so I get an hour. Okay, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Reverend Nixon.
Bye.
Shanae, I see you. What's going on?
I just wanted to share that the reason it is 8:30 is because the people in Okaloosa are so excited about Angie. But tomorrow school starts.
Girl, bye. Y'all, girl, bye.
School starts
8:30.
But yes.
But that's why
That's Shanae and Steve. I already put y'all out there, Shanae. I'm sorry. That's y'all. Because he forgot those of us that want to come.
Lord.
I tried 10:30 at Golden Corral because that was her favorite place.
That's what you should have done.
I tried.
Golden Corral. Wait, hold up. Y'all got a problem with Golden Corral?
No, they were just trying to make it work because they were saying about the kids going back to school. So that was my
push. Kids don't go to school.
But you know what?
I'm just telling them they shared. I'm not there.
Don't let Steve.
I support local businesses. But I must say that my favorite chain is, in fact, Golden Corral, and I will die on that floor.
the excitement that you have for Golden Corral is parallel.
We love it. We love it.
It's the little things, y'all. All right. Good night.
All right. Good night. See you in the morning. Bye. That was.
Are you joining us in the morning? Or she got off too? I wonder if she's gonna be here.
She got off. Yeah.
All right.
That was Rep. Angie Nixon, hailing from Duval County, who is running for United States Senate. I certainly speak. Well, yeah, I speak for our voices and say we are all Team Angie. We rock with Team Angie because Team Angie rocks with us. And I wanted to share this because I found this. I think it's okay. I wanted to. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
What are you saying here?
I don't know. Tell me what you're doing first.
Her video on the side of the road.
Okay, go ahead. That one.
I was like, why do you keep saying? You're like, no, don't do it.
Because there's one.
I know you got. I know, knowing me, you gotta. Yeah, I get it. But I wanted to share this with you guys. I thought it was so inspiring. Like, this is how I want my rep to represent me, and I hope that you guys feel the same. So I want to share this with you, and we're going to do this now.
I would have called Road Ranger.
No, because that makes you have to sit there for 2 hours and wait for them to show up. She didn't have 2 hours because she was probably trying to get to her next stop and make sure she wasn't late. So she did it herself.
So the story behind the story behind the video is she had an event that she had to be at by 11, and the place that she was at when the tire split was 5 hours away from where she had to be. So the only legit option she had was either call AAA and wait 2 hours for AAA to get there, and then she's late to the event, or figure out how to change the tire and keep it moving. And shout out to them unprofessional shoes.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do around here to make sure that we get it moving during this election. Because you can't change no tie, no Jimmy Choos, Rachel Veman. Can't change no tie, no red bottoms, Rachel Veman. All right.
Yeah, we certainly, I think for me, I absolutely want my representative to be that committed to the people where they change their own tie. Or I want my senator to change their own tie, because I guarantee you, had it been somebody else, they would have canceled.
Yeah.
I ain't coming, right? I remember they couldn't be bothered to meet with the people when they flew in on their private jet the first time to Pensacola. So they wanted everybody to come to the airport to meet them, as if they were Barack Obama or somebody, but whatever. It is what it is, but I appreciate Rep. Nixon Mr. McIntosh, I'm giving you, you got in the chat because she was talking about you when she said them people drive nice cars. That, you know, you know,
Yeah.
you and Mr. Vernon, the only two people on here that drive Mercedes, or also known as Mercedes. So, you know, y'all can go ahead.
You know why they call them Mercedes, right?
Why?
Mercedes payments are killing me.
Do we have any books? Do we have any books?
So y'all got it. I know y'all got a couple dollars, so we can get some signs in Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa County. So I encourage all of you all to do that. But that brings us to a couple of points. Oh wait, no, we at 9:00. My bad.
Yes, I said, do we have any books? I'm trying to let Mr. McIntosh show his book. He done waved at you 4 times.
This one called Forced into Glory by Lerone Bennett. And it'll give you a whole a different take on Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War, and race in America. It changes my narrative about the Lincoln, what I was taught, that Lincoln freed the slaves and was concerned about us and all that. And Lerone Bennett and others have written what Lincoln actually said and got to the footnotes and everything else that on what he said, that he would have never freed the slave if he could have saved the Union without freeing the slave. And the slaves, it was Lincoln. It wasn't Lincoln that freed the slaves. It was Black people that freed themselves. He had to sign the Emancipation Proclamation because Black people was fighting in the Civil War and turned the Civil War because the South was winning, but they turned it on its head. So, if you get a chance, read Lerone. If you haven't read Forced into Glory, read Lerone Bennett Jr. Forced into Glory.
All right, everybody. Well, that's our show. Thank you to everybody for coming in. Everybody say hey, good night to Jamil's daughter. It's time to go to sleep. We're gonna let y'all go so you can get into bed. Have a great night. Everybody, please make sure you go and early vote. If you have not done so, this is the time. Polls are open. If you need it short in Escambia, go to Brownsville. You can get in and out in 5 minutes. So do that, and we will see you all next weekend. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great
Good
night.
night.